Let us look at an example from a project that took place recently. This is the purchasing department of a Fortune 500 company in the telecoms industry. We collected data about the purchase order items from their ERP and fed it to the data mining system, which in turn showed us what was really going on. We see here the system has found that we have 1.12 million purchase order items with value of more than $2 billion. The system has also found that the purchase process starts with a purchase requisition, followed by creation of the purchase order, then sending the purchase order to the vendor. Then a few days later, the goods turn up along with an invoice, which we record in the system, and finally we clear the invoice. This, however, is only part of the story. We see here that 420,000 cases follow this path. So what happens to the rest? Let's add more detail to get a broader picture. We find that 149,000 cases start directly with the purchase order, skipping the purchase requisition altogether. 145,000 cases go through a price change after the purchase order has been sent. Obviously, this is wasteful, if not irregular, and warrants deeper investigation. The more detail we add, the more we discover. Let's do it one more time. We see here that we start by receiving an invoice, then we create a purchase order, which we supposedly send to the vendor, then we say that we received the goods and clear the invoice. This situation is commonly known as maverick buying. It usually happens when controls are weak and people engage in purchasing activities without due process. The purchasing department is only engaged to handle the paperwork after the goods show up at the door. Let's dig deeper. We are now focusing on the maverick buying phenomenon. We notice that there is a significant increase in the months of September and October. Filtering on these 2 months, we see that the vendor with the lion's share is CEB Barcelona. Looking at the materials bought, we see that these are mostly flat screens. Let's take a look at a summary of the situation. The system has compared the data with a normative model and found that only 56% of the cases are compliant, and there are 16 different types of violations. It has automatically discovered the violations and ranked them by priority. Here we see that price change happens in 14% of the cases. Looking deeper, we notice that these cases take 38 days compared to the average of 29 days. Let's run a root cause analysis. The system tries to find links between the data and the problem. For example, we notice that 51,000 cases are related to a certain umbrella corporation. These findings are evidence-based and supported by the data. Data mining and other AI techniques give us an efficient, verifiable, and repeatable method for diagnosis.